Joshua Kemble, and this is day 45 of the 100 Days of Making Comics challenge, which is the challenge where we're supposed to spend about 30 minutes a day minimum working on our own personal comic project for 100 days consecutively. And so day 45, feeling pretty good. I already put in my time and finished the page 61 pencils, so I can get to inking tomorrow, which is one of my favorite things to do. I love inking. I love doing it. I love the whole process of it. It's just kind of a meditative, fun thing to do. And it actually goes a little quicker, I think, than the drawing stage. It takes a little less focus. So, yeah, so that's one thing that's going on. I also have to do some revisions for a client, where basically I got hired to do like a robot, like grizzly bear that was based on a very cheesy, like 1950s style robot alligator that I illustrated when I was a senior in college. So like back when I was working on my BFA. So there's this guy, really cool dude, actually got that illustration tattooed on him, and he wanted to hire me to draw like basically different animals in that style. And I mean, it's just cool. It's cool that he liked my art enough to actually get it permanently put on his body. And aside from that, it's also he's a good dude, because I quoted him kind of a range, and you know, fairly low because they're fairly simple illustrations. And he went with my highest range, so that was kind of rad. Just kind of really excited about that project. So he gave me some revisions on my first set of roughs. Super simple revisions, very clear, very specific. So great client to work for, and I might show you that too when I finished it. But let me show you the page, and then I got to read a bedtime story for my son. For those of you who are like new to this vlog, I'm also a full-time art director and a full-time husband and a full-time father. So when I'm working on my comic, which is quarterly stories about faith and mental illness, it's time that I have to kind of carve away outside of having like full-time work and a full-time family and family obligations and stuff like that. So that kind of situation is actually what my friend Kevin Cross was kind of thinking of when he created the challenge, was the fact that, you know, the older you get, like when you get pinned down with these different obligations, it's really hard to advance your dream or advance your career or just kind of advance your comic forward. Like, comic book making is a long process. Most people who are taking the 100 Days challenge know that. And if you haven't really tackled working on a comic, the second you kind of open that can of worms, it's a really long, kind of hard process. So this challenge is supposed to kind of keep you working on your project. And honestly, I have to say, this deep in, it has worked pretty effectively to make me be even more consistent with my comics. I usually have the daily habit of working on my comics, but most of the time I'll take a day off. And the fact that there's no days off actually has really helped kind of advance the comic forward. So the only key is trying to keep these videos relatively short so I don't have burnout while I'm like waiting for these things to upload. And speaking of that, I really should get to showing you the page and then get to those revisions for that client. So this is the page so far. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I think I've addressed this before, maybe not on the 100 Days challenge, but in some of my earlier vlogs. One of my favorite things to do, it's a little trick to make a composition more interesting, is to actually tilt the horizon line to create a little bit of tension. It's something I had heard about Russian art films doing. And in the background you're hearing my wife and giving my son a bath. So there's a lot of talking and stuff. But this is the page so far. Hopefully you guys could hear what I'm saying and stuff. And I'm actually pretty excited about it. I just have to remember on these, I'm actually going to have a little bit of light on, like in this case on the glass, in this case on the plate, and in this case on the hands. And here, it's actually going to be kind of more highlighting, like there's actually going to be more light on the image to kind of highlight that, you know, in the meantime, while all of this was happening, just a really terrible attitude was attached to it. So I'm actually really happy with it. This page took, not the page, but this panel took a little longer to pencil, but I think like when you have a key panel like this, you really want to invest and take your time, and it was really fun to get into the hatching and stuff. I think it's gonna look great when it's inked. So yeah. Superman has superpowers. He is very strong. Check out the Man of Steel. Oh, when Superman is not using his superpowers, he is disguised as Clark Kent. When people are in trouble, Clark Kent becomes Superman. Who becomes Clark Kent? What does that say?
It's a bird. It's a white Superman.
Check out that silky red cape. Wow, yeah.
Superman goes to a special place called the
Fortress
of Soul when he wants to be alone.
You're right. Look at all that sparkly ice. When Superman isn't saving the world and locking bad guys up.
Oops, it's
Look.
a lock.
Yeah, it's locked and it says locking above it.
It says lock.
Yeah, okay, how do we unlock it? How are we gonna unlock that lock? That sticky lock, you got it? You unlock the page. Superman isn't saving the world and locking up the bad guys. He likes to hang out with his dog, Crypto. You can pet Crypto too. Yeah, good Crypto. He looks like Bernie, huh?
He likes Bernie.
Yeah,
He sounds like Bernie.
Yeah, he does look like Bernie. All right. Bear's Picnic by Stan and Jen Bernstein.
It's might be very fine, but look what it says on the brand.
Big.
Sign.
Oh, look what it says on that big sign. What does it say on the big sign?
Big picnic today.
Haha.
Hey, let's use this.
Yeah. Fox, socks, box, Knox. Knox and box and fox and socks. Here's an easy thing to say. New socks, two socks. Whose socks? Whose socks, Benji?
Scissors.
Yeah. Nose, hose, goes some.
Some.
Crows, grows, grows some.
Some.
Now wait a minute, Mr. Fox, sir. When a fox is in the bottle where the Tweedle Beetles battle with their paddles in a puddle on the noodle-eating poodle. This is what they call a Tweedle Beetle Noodle Poodle bottled, paddled, muddled, duddled, fuddled, wuddled, fox in socks, sir. Fox in socks, our game is done, sir. Thank you for a lot of fun, sir. Okay, now it is time for bed, Ben. Okay?
So, like, this was the tattoo based on an illustration I did a really long time ago. That was like a robot alligator, and he added the state of Florida, and I thought it was so cool that somebody got my art as a tattoo, but now he's hiring me to do other robots in this kind of simple style. So I'll show you that. This is the first rough that I sent him, and like his big feedback was that I needed to increase the width of his belly, and that's about it. So he sent me this note just to kind of help in the revision. So I'm gonna make that change real quick and then call it a night. Alright, well, let me show you what I did. So basically I just increased the width of the belly here, which was a pretty easy change. And so basically that should do it for the revision. Easiest revision on the planet. So, yeah.
Okay, so super easy revisions done. Page penciled, and I will call that it for day 45 of the 100 days of making comics. I'm really stoked about being consistent with this challenge. It's like, I know going into it I was saying I kind of already do this on a daily basis, but it feels good to kind of take on a challenge, and I've stuck with it so far for over a month now. I guess it's like a month and a half, and I think I'm going to see it through to the end. and I'm feeling good. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow.